Welcome to Being Reintegrated. My name is Tim Wright, and what I wanted to do today was talk with you about these efforts of the Treatise of Reintegration of Beings. Um, so, as you know, I am doing a translation of LeForest's uh, Cohen commentary. It's basically Illuminism in the French Masonry of the 18th century in the order of the Cohens, and it's one of three volumes that LeForest did during his life. One was published by Five. I don't know how to say it. I keep saying that. Which was the version of the commentary on the CBCS and the strict observance and Villermoz and a lot of that material. LeForest also did another volume on the Bavarian Illuminati. So he covered many, many areas of scholarship. And I'm using that as a basis, one of the four bases of the commentary I'm doing on the treatise itself. So welcome to Being Reintegrated. Thank you so much for your support. I know it seems like there's not a lot of videos, but the videos are being made. I can't just sit here and comment properly on the Treatise of Reintegration of Beings. It would take not only a reading of the Amadou, which you'll be able to get for free as a Patreon member. You'll be able to see these posts, and it has a French copy of the text from Amadou. So this is section 4, I believe. We're doing section 4. And I did write the commentary up to a few beyond this. So at least we're able to get there. So this is the necessary consequences of the divine and spiritual superior's transgression. It reads, had these spiritual and divine superiors maintained their original state of virtue and divine power after their transgression? Yes, they had, by the immutability of the Eternal's decrees. For if the Creator had withdrawn all the virtues and powers that he had placed before them, there would have been no act of life, good or evil, nor any manifestation of glory, justice, and divine power upon these transgressor spirits. You may well say that the Creator could have foreseen that these first emanated spirits would transgress against his laws, precepts, and commands, and that it then became incumbent upon him to contain them according to the law. My response to this is that even if the Creator should have foreseen their conceited ambition, he could not have contained and stopped their criminal thought in any way without depriving them of their particular and innate action, since they had been emanated to act according to their will and as a spiritual secondary cause, in accord with the Creator's design. The Creator takes no part in any spiritual secondary causes, either good or evil, having himself founded and supported every spiritual being upon immutable laws. In this way, every spiritual being is free to act according to its will and in its particular purpose, and we see confirmation of this daily before our very eyes. So then I go into a commentary, which has that entire section broken down into more bite-size areas. So the ones that go with this section 4 of the Amadou demarcation, is that this is about the original state of virtue, the immutability of the Eternal's decrees, innate free will, separation of divine and spiritual actions. And then I also give a likelihood of where the grades were that they taught these particular things based on work that we have in the Catechism and the Bibliothèque Municipale Grenoble, showing in the Prunelle documents. If you know what these all are, it's great. I don't have to explain it. but showing the progression of the grades, which is in all of the catechisms on academia.edu, and is a very, very good article on the Elukoan itself. But so in the original state of virtue, you learn this kind of in your master of the Elukoan degree. Now, I can't go just one shot and tell you all of these degrees and all of their thoughts. But trust me, this commentary covers a lot more ground than you might have thought it would. Not only are we looking at the degrees of these thoughts that are being talked about in the section, but also I've started to work with commentators themselves. So, well, not personally, but I've been reading their works, and so I do have some commentary of my own, which reads, you're getting a sneak preview of a book that's scheduled to release in a couple of months. I mean, I still got to work on it. I am making books for the Martinist tradition. So the fact that I have to write the book is not very easy, but I'm willing to do so because someone should have done this before me. They just haven't. So this section is one that really impresses me. In the tradition of priestly debate, it has often been an area of contention and mystery why a just God will allow unjust acts to occur in the world. I often struggled with this concept myself, which is the doubt that everyone who takes these matters seriously faces, at least in contemporary times, because I wasn't alive in the 1700s. This conversation is labeled by the theologians Theodicy. I found it incredibly insightful that Martinez sidesteps this entire conversation by saying repetitively in the treatise that the eternal doesn't, quote, concern itself with secondary causes, close quote, which is a free will of the beings that were emanated. This shows the sheer genius of Martinez to me, saying that the doctrine of the treatise is so true, it answers and sidesteps the entire omnipotent creator, making life hard and easy for some altogether. This is further analyzed in the late 19th century by C.G. Jung and is said that human beings are driven to accomplish good, what they call the summum bonum. They do this without reflection, and therefore often the results are diminished returns. Jung then postulated that evil was a result of an unreflecting individual and not a Zoroastrian eternal principle. But there is an element of the Creator God that causes doubt in its good-natured acts. Martinez calls this a secondary cause, and it is further elucidated by Louis Claude de Saint-Martin in his Treatise on Benedictions. In this work, Louis Claude de Saint-Martin, I put LCDSM for short, essentially says that the spirits of creation, what Martinez calls secondary causes, are dual. In addition to these two foundations, Robert Amadou furthers the conversation by stating that there are two creation accounts, one for the eternal and the other for a terrestrial creator. This is known in essence. Martinez throws any reflective analysis on the eternal source by saying that all secondary causes are outside of the ability of the eternal to influence. A quick colophon, a friend and fellow scholar whose contributions to my early understanding of these traditions have been invaluable, argues in his thesis that the teachings of Martinez represent outgrown spiritual remnants of guilt and sin, labeling them as expressions of spiritual infancy. While I respect his perspective, I have found that my own journey through this material has led me to a different conclusion. One sees that these traditions not as remnants, but as enduring insights into the nature of divine action and spiritual autonomy. This divergence is not a dismissal of his insights, but rather a reflection of how deeply personal and varied our paths through these ancient teachings can be. So that's the commentary I wrote on section 4 of the treatise. I'm really happy to be able to do this work. Pretty soon, As of now, it's October of 2024. I will be able to further refine the commentary with the insights of Gerard's Gandet's Treatise commentary, which is coming from France, and I have that on the way, which I will be analyzing. I also used George Quartz's 3-volume of the Manuscript of Algiers, so this commentary I'm giving you is not uneducated and unresearched. It's highly researched and by very major researchers, Le Forester, George Quartz, Jean-Marc Vavenza, Gerard Gandet. All these things that I'm talking about are by scholars. They're not by me. I'm not brilliant in the sense that, I'm just able to know everything and have all these ideas. So I am relying heavily on my scholar colleagues to be able to present to you a commentary on the Treatise of Reintegration of Beings. I just wanted to keep up with the momentum of doing these, even though I am in the background doing books and materials. I wanted to make sure that I got back to doing my reading and commentary on the Treatise of Reintegration of Beings for my subscribers. In the future, this will not be free videos. I will have to go through and collate all of them, probably in preparation for the release of the book, which most of these videos will be verbal renditions of the book that will eventually be available. But that is written material, and you heard it first before it even hits the press as a subscriber of Being Reintegrated. It's so important to do this work, and we can't do it without subsidy. It is the way it is. If you want someone to sit there and read French all day long, you're going to have to make sure that they have the ability to read French all day long. So anyway, thank you again for your support, and I hope that you enjoyed this reading of the Treatise of Reintegration, Section 4.